Hi, and welcome to our 127th test and measurement video. Today we'll look at some key concepts in the Tektronix Series 3000 mixed domain oscilloscope. First, we'll consider acquisition mode, beginning with how to change it. With the instrument powered up, press Acquire. In the horizontal acquisition menu that appears below the display, press the soft key associated with Mode. The vertical acquisition mode menu appears to the right of the display. Notice that sample mode is lighted, and that is because it is the default mode, used most of the time. The others, which may be chosen by pressing adjacent soft keys, are Peak Detect, High Resolution, Envelope, and Average. They are distinct methods of performing sampling, which takes place in the ADC, or analog to digital converter, deep in the oscilloscope circuitry. The various sampling modes are useful for performing diverse operations. They are described in detail in the MDO 3000 Oscilloscope User's Manual, which is available free of charge from the Tektronix website, even if you haven't purchased the instrument. The purpose of average is to eliminate noise when it is present in a periodic waveform, and this technique is very effective. Pressing the soft key adjacent to average in the acquisition mode menu, notice that the default number of waveforms that are averaged is 16. We can change this number by turning multipurpose knob A. The range is 2 to 512. Noise is a random phenomenon, whereas successive periodic waveforms are all the same. Therefore, when you superimpose noisy waveforms, the random noise cancels out, while the original waveforms are superimposed and reinforce one another. To demonstrate, we've displayed a sine wave from the internal AFG. Pressing the output settings soft key, we see in the vertical menu that noise can be added. Of course, the default setting is 0%. Turning multipurpose knob A will add 25% noise. This distorts the signal and even disrupts triggering. Now, back to waveform averaging, we'll turn the multipurpose knob A in order to average increasing numbers of the waveform. When we get to 256, the waveform is much freer of noise and triggering has been restored. Notice that the trace appears to throb a slight amount due to averaging. Turning the number of waveforms that are averaged up to 512, notice how clean the trace appears. It is even better than before noise was added. This demonstrates that there is a certain amount of thermal noise, probably originating in the AFG cable and connectors. Of course, waveform averaging works only for a periodic signal. If the signal is not periodic, the user must resort to bandwidth limiting to control noise. To change record length, press the appropriate soft key in the acquisition menu. The vertical record length submenu appears on the left. Other than default, which is 10,000 points, the choices are 1,000, 100,000, 1 million, 5 million, and 10 million. The choice is made by turning multipurpose knob A. With delay set on, turn the horizontal position knob counterclockwise to increase the delay. The trigger point will move to the left and ultimately outside of the original waveform. Then you can adjust the horizontal scale knob to acquire more detail around the area of interest at the center of the screen. When this delay is on, the trigger point separates from the horizontal expansion point. The horizontal expansion point stays at the center of the screen. The trigger point can move off the screen. When this happens, the trigger marker turns to point in the direction of the trigger point. Use the delay feature when you want to acquire waveform detail that is separated from the trigger event by a significant interval of time. For example, you can trigger on a sync pulse that occurs every 10 milliseconds and then look at high-speed signal characteristics that occur 6 milliseconds after the sync pulse. When the delay feature is set to off, the expansion point is tied to the trigger point so that the scale changes as centered around the trigger point. Thanks for watching. New videos are added periodically, so check back frequently.